2 minutes they had that car open, we were pulling bodies out. They were still alive. And we kept going. It's not what we're trained to deal with, is the aftermath. The things we saw was like a nightmare. I don't want anybody to see this. I just wish we could get some support.
On October 6, 2018, what began as a celebratory journey turned into one of the deadliest transportation disasters in recent U.S. history. Today, we explore the tragic events of the Schoharie limousine crash, a calamity that claimed 20 lives and forever changed the conversation about vehicle safety and regulatory oversight. Axel Steenberg and his wife Amy had planned a memorable celebration for Amy's 30th birthday. The couple, along with close family and friends, were scheduled to visit Brewery Ommegang near Cooperstown, a destination known for its scenic beauty and craft brews. In total, 17 passengers, including Amy's 3 sisters and their spouses as well as Axel's brother, were to share in the festivities. Initially, a party bus was arranged. However, when that option fell through on the morning of the event due to mechanical failure, Axel scrambled to secure an alternative. He ultimately turned to Prestige Limousine Services, renting a 2001 Ford Excursion, a vehicle modified to accommodate 18 passengers. Unknown to the group, this limousine had been marked unserviceable by the New York State Department of Transportation in September 2018 after failing 2 critical inspections. Prior to that fateful day, red flags had been raised about the limousine's condition. The vehicle had undergone extensive modifications, lengthened to carry more passengers, which in turn compromised its structural integrity and critical safety systems. Specifically, the brake system was severely affected by the extra weight, a flaw that would later prove catastrophic. Further compounding the issue was the driver, Scott Lizanikia. Despite holding a commercial driver's license, he did not possess the required P endorsement for operating vehicles, designed to carry 15 or more passengers. In addition, owing to several traffic violations, his license should have been suspended. However, a clerical error allowed him to continue driving. Prestige Limousine, operated by Nauman Hussein, had a documented history of negligence. Multiple complaints and safety violations had been reported, yet the company continued to lease out vehicles that were clearly unsafe for public transportation. The morning of October 6, 2018, began with high hopes and anticipation. The group departed from the Steenberg residence in Amsterdam, New York, en route to Brewery Ommegang. As the limousine traveled south on New York State Route 30, passengers noted that the vehicle's engine was unusually loud and that the brakes appeared to be struggling. Some even sent text messages warning that the car felt unstable. Approaching the intersection with Route 30A, a notoriously dangerous stretch due to its steep downhill descent, the vehicle's speed was estimated to have reached dangerously high levels, possibly up to 100 miles per hour, well above the legal limit. At approximately 1:55 p.m., the limousine failed to stop at the T intersection. It plowed into a parked SUV near the Apple Barrel Country Store, and the force of the collision propelled it into a nearby ravine. In the split second the limousine crossed the intersection, the ensuing impact was catastrophic. The collision with the parked SUV resulted in a chain reaction that claimed the lives of all 17 limousine occupants. In addition, 2 pedestrians, Brian Huff and James Schnurr, who were near the vehicle, were struck and killed. Witnesses described the scene as one of unimaginable horror. The roadway was littered with twisted metal, and several vehicles were engulfed in flames. Survivors later recounted that the crash left them in a state of shock, unable to comprehend the scale of the devastation unfolding before their eyes. First responders arrived swiftly on the scene, but the magnitude of the wreckage posed significant challenges. Rescue teams worked under perilous conditions to extract any survivors and recover the bodies, while the injured were rushed to nearby hospitals.
My guys jumped off the truck. They grabbed the jaws. I fired the jaws up. And they went down there. Within 2 minutes, they had that car open. We were pulling bodies out. They were still alive. And We kept going. Trained and trained and trained, and this is not what we're trained to deal with, is the aftermath. The things we saw was like a nightmare.
I was in the driver's seat. My sister was exiting on the passenger side, and we heard an explosion, which I know now was the car crash. And these trees just all swayed, and you just heard this swoosh. And we just got out of the car as fast as we could because we thought there was a tree falling down, an explosion. We didn't know what it was.
The true cost of this disaster was measured in human lives. Among the victims were young individuals with bright futures and families who were left grieving immeasurably. Amy Steenberg, the birthday honoree, was remembered for her kindness and vibrant spirit. Her husband Axel was a pillar of strength for his family, and his loss is still felt deeply. The King sisters, Allison, Abigail, and Mary, were the heart of a loving family whose close bonds were tragically severed that day. Their spouses, too, perished, leaving behind children who will grow up without their parents. Other notable victims included Matthew Coons, a decorated U.S. Army veteran known for his community service, and Patrick Cushing, a dedicated state senator's employee whose enthusiasm for life touched many. Even the two pedestrians, Brian Huff, a respected professor at SUNY Oswego, and his father-in-law James Schnurr, were part of this tragic narrative, their deaths underscoring that the accident's impact rippled far beyond the limousine itself. In the wake of the tragedy, the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, launched an exhaustive investigation. Their report revealed a litany of safety failures that converged to make this accident inevitable. First, the vehicle itself had been severely compromised. Modifications made to extend its length, done without proper certification, significantly weakened its structural integrity. More alarmingly, the braking system, already strained by the added weight, failed catastrophically when the vehicle reached high speeds. Furthermore, the driver, Scott Lizinikia, was found to be operating without the proper license endorsement. This oversight, combined with a history of traffic violations that should have resulted in a suspended license, raises serious questions about regulatory enforcement at the time. The investigation also highlighted the operator's negligence. Prestige Limousine continued to rent out vehicles known to be unsafe, ignoring multiple safety orders issued by the New York State Department of Transportation. The legal fallout from the Schoharie crash was swift and far-reaching. Nauman Hussein, the operator of Prestige Limousine, was charged with 20 counts of manslaughter. Prosecutors contended that his willful negligence in maintaining his fleet and his disregard for mandated safety protocols directly contributed to the loss of 20 lives. In May 2023, after months of testimony and evidence presentation, Hussein was convicted on all counts and sentenced to a term ranging from 5 to 15 years in prison. Even after conviction, Hussein's legal team continued to pursue appeals, arguing that procedural errors during the trial had violated his constitutional rights. As of early 2024, these appeals remain pending in New York's highest courts, with advocates on both sides fervently debating the appropriate measures for accountability. In the wake of this unimaginable tragedy, a nationwide reckoning took place within the transportation industry. The Schoharie crash became a catalyst for sweeping reforms. Lawmakers in New York and across the country have since introduced stricter regulations for stretch limousines, mandating rigorous and more frequent safety inspections. New protocols now require that any vehicle undergoing modifications for increased capacity must receive federal certification to ensure that critical safety features remain uncompromised. Additionally, licensing requirements for drivers have been overhauled. The requirement for a P endorsement for vehicles carrying 15 or more passengers is now strictly enforced, with penalties for non-compliance significantly increased. These measures aim not only to prevent another tragedy like Schoharie, but also to restore public trust in the safety of commercial transportation services. The loss of 20 lives in Schoharie sent shockwaves through the communities involved. Families who once shared meals and celebrated milestones together were left in mourning. Vigils were held in Amsterdam and Schoharie, with community members lighting candles, sharing heartfelt remembrances, and vowing to honor the memory of those lost by advocating for change. Victim tributes poured in from across the nation. Social media platforms became a space for remembrance, where heartfelt stories and personal photographs were shared. These poignant memories serve as a constant reminder of the high cost of negligence and the urgent need for reform. The 2018 Schoharie limousine crash is a stark reminder of the devastating impact that negligence in vehicle safety can have on communities. It is a tragedy that continues to reverberate through the hearts of those who lost loved ones, and serves as a call to action for stricter regulations and vigilant oversight. By remembering the victims and learning from the failures that led to this disaster, we can hope to prevent such a tragedy from ever occurring again. May their memories guide us toward a safer future. Thank you for watching Fatal Impact. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth investigations. Leave your thoughts and memories in the comments below. Together, we can honor the victims and work toward meaningful change in transportation safety.